Hi girls, today we are going to see about motion in vertical circle, and the best example for this is the globe in the circus. You might have seen a globe, a very big globe in the circus, and a bike rider will be moving inside that globe without falling. And so that is a best example for motion in a vertical circle. And here when you see this diagram, here the object is moving in the circle, but it is a vertical circle, and this object is having the vertical downward acceleration, that is the weight is acting vertically downwards, mg, and the particular position is shown here, and this mg is resolved into two components, mg sin theta and mg cos theta, and mg sin theta is opposite to the velocity, that is the velocity is drawn along the tangent, and there is a tension in the string. And usually when you tie a stone and give a circular motion, there will be tension mounted in the string. Similarly here also there is tension, and r vector is the position vector. And when you see the angle here, you mark these angles in your book and read, then only you can understand. Here this is 0 degree, this is plus pi by 2, and there 180 degree, and in this case this is 270 degree, or you can write it as minus pi by 2. So here there are four compartments A, B, C, D, and we shall see in each compartment what is the velocity and tension. And surely when the body is moving in the vertical circle, it is not uniform, the velocity and tension is not uniform, definitely it is going to change, that we shall see now. And so here the string is usually inextensible, that is it is a very rigid one, that type of string is taken. And here you have seen the angle in the diagram, and there are two forces acting on the mass. One is the gravitational force which acts downwards, and the other is tension along the string. And you have to take two directions now, tangential direction, that is along the tangent, and the other one is radial direction, that is along the radius. And when you see the tangential direction in this diagram, mg sin theta is equal to mat, you are applying Newton's second law, and instead of at, acceleration, you know, rate of change of velocity, that is a dv by dt, and here negative sign because both are acting in the opposite direction. And here at is nothing but tangential retardation. Retardation means it is opposite to acceleration, so the speed will decrease with time. And when you see in the radial direction, that is along the radius, when you take, the component is mg cos theta, and the opposite force is tension. So here you can write this as T minus mg cos theta is equal to mar, and here this is radial acceleration. And since the body is moving in the circular path, that is centripetal force, so you have to apply centripetal acceleration here. So instead of ar, you substitute v square by r, which is the equation you have already known. So substituting this, ar is equal to v square by r, you will get the equation 429. And here definitely the vertical circular motion, the velocity is not uniform, and also the tension in the string is not constant. So velocity is not a constant in the course of motion, also the tension in the string is not constant. And I have told you this vertical circular path in this diagram, you are having four divisions A, B, C, D, and when you take the first compartments A and D, the angle varies from minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2, and you take the other compartments B and C, where the angle varies from 90 degree to 270 degree. And so in the lower compartment, usually the cos theta is having positive value, and in the upper compartment cos theta will be negative, that we shall see now. And here, so you are having the sections A and D now. The equation is T is equal to mg cos theta plus mv square by r, and when you see the sections A and D, the angles are from minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2, and you know cos 90, you know it is 0. So the value will always take positive if it the value changes from minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2, and so in this equation the t value will be positive, and the tension cannot vanish, so it will not disappear even when the velocity vanishes. So that is for the sections A and D. And next you consider the sections B and D, where the angle is from pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2. It will take negative value. The cos theta will take negative value. So when you see this equation, it will become t minus mg cos theta will have some value, and here you are rearranging that equation. So mv square by r is equal to t minus mg cos theta. So the second term, since the cos theta will take negative value, the second term is always greater than 0, and hence velocity cannot vanish even when the tension vanishes. And so here you are considering again in this diagram the lowest point and the highest point. That is, the object is at the lowest point 1, and next it is at the highest point 2. And here when you see at the lowest point, the weight is acting vertically downwards, mg, and T1, that is tension in the string, will move upwards, that is along the radius. When you see at the highest point, and usually the weight will act only downwards, so both mg and T2 will act along the same direction. So this is a difference between the lowest point and the highest point, and here the velocity is given by the tangent v1, and here the velocity is given by the tangent v2. And so here we are considering the lowest point 1 and the highest point 2, and T1 be the tension in the string at the lowest point, and T2 be the tension at the highest point. And so we are applying the law of conservation of energy in this, that is, whether it is at a lowest point or at highest point, the total energy will remain constant. And before going to that, we first consider the lowest point 1, and in that lowest point T1 minus mg is equal to mv1 square by r, where the right hand side of this equation is nothing but centripetal force. So rearranging this equation, T1 is equal to mv1 square by r plus mg. And next you consider the highest point. In this, both the gravitational force and tension acts in the same direction, that is downwards. So T2 plus mg is equal to mv2 square by r. You are adding that because both are acting in the same downward direction. So now T2 is equal to mv2 square by r minus mg. So comparing these two equations, equation T1 and equation T2, definitely T1 is greater than T2, that is, tension in the lowest point is usually higher than the tension in the upper point. Now we are subtracting the two equations. So when you subtract, T1 minus T2 is equal to mv1 square by r plus mg, minus you substitute the equation of T2 now, and after you simplify that, you will get T1 minus T2 is equal to m by r, and v1 square minus v2 square, m by r is taken outside, and mg plus mg will give you 2 mg. And next we have to find out what is v1 square minus v2 square, and for this you apply the law of conservation of energy at both the points 1 and 2. And so here when you see at the lowest point, the energy, let it be E1, and at the highest point the energy is E2. So according to law of conservation of energy, E1 must be equal to E2. And when you see at the point 1, at the lowest point, the potential energy becomes 0, because it is then only starting its motion. So the potential energy becomes 0, whereas kinetic energy is equal to half mv1 square, and so the total energy will become 0 plus half mv1 square, which is equal to half mv1 square. But when you consider the highest point, the potential energy there is mg into 2r, because you know potential energy is mgh, and here the height is equal to 2r, because when you see the radius r, the distance from the lowest point to the highest point will become 2r. So instead of h, you can substitute 2r, which is the distance between the lowest point and the highest point. And so what is kinetic energy? Half mv2 square, and now E2 total energy is equal to potential energy plus kinetic energy, so 2 mgr plus half mv2 square. And according to law of conservation of energy, the energy, total energy at the lowest point must be equal to the total energy in the highest point. So equating those two equations, you will get half mv1 square is equal to 2 mgr plus half mv2 square, and bring the right hand side term to this side. So you will get v1 square minus v2 square is equal to 4gr. So substituting that in this equation, Now T1 minus T2 will become m by r into 4gr plus 2mg, and after cancelling r and adding, you will get T1 minus T2 must be equal to 6mg. So this is a difference in tension at the lowest point and the highest point. And next we are going to see about what should be the minimum speed at the highest point too, because it is very dangerous if we go to the highest point. And suppose if T2 becomes 0, that is there is no tension in the string, then the string will slack, so the object will fall down. So in such a case you have to take the condition as T2 is equal to 0. So in this equation 433, you substitute T2 is equal to 0 for finding out the minimum speed. Then you will get 0 is equal to mv to square r by r minus mg, and simplifying you will get v2 square is equal to rg, m and m get cancelled, so v2 is equal to square root of gr. So the velocity at the highest point must be greater than or equal to square root of gr, and you know g is acceleration due to gravity and r is the radius of the circle. So this condition must be satisfied for the object for not falling down. So v2 must be greater than or equal to square root of gr to stay in the circular path. Next we are going to see about the minimum speed at the lowest point 1, and you are going to find out for this v1. And you know what is v2? v1 square minus v2 square is equal to 4gr, and substituting for v2 you will get v1 square minus gr is equal to 4gr, or v1 square is equal to 5gr, or v1 is equal to square root of 5gr. So the body must have this speed, that is v1 should be greater than or equal to square root of 5gr. So these two velocities must be satisfied in order to have the body loops without leaving the circle. So these conditions must be satisfied for the vertical circular motion. That's all girls, hope you understand.